um, from your vantage point, how do you know if an organization is character-led? Like if they are, if their culture is inspired or they have a character-led organization? I'm curious.
Ask the people. I mean, there are different measures, and so let me kind of go down that path. I mean, most organizations have done the traditional, which is surveys, right? As far as, and there's certain questions in surveys that really get at culture or character, and I think those continue to work because you can get a sense of the morale, and the sense of morale is usually tied a lot to the culture. And so you can learn when you have a strong culture, when you have areas that, require some attention. So of course, having not too many surveys, but having the right questions asked at certain times to get that barometer, I think is important. There's something else which we're experimenting with right now, which I think is going to be important, hopefully going forward, which is what I talk in the book about a belonging index, where it's a different type of survey because the questions are different, but it starts to ask questions around how you feel about your sense of belonging within that organization. We're doing some work right now with UC Berkeley and professors at UC Berkeley that have already begun experimenting around belonging now for some period of time. And I've decided to be one of the early companies to be part of that process. And so we're in the early stages, but we're working with UC Berkeley and also within Anaplan to start to measure belonging. And I think as we do, hopefully we'll share that, and also other companies are going through that process as well. I think with UC Berkeley, that could be a good way of sharing with organizations going forward that here are some even more successful measures of culture and character and the connecting point that people feel to those organizations.
Interesting. And I'm curious to know your point of view. How much influence should a CEO has when it comes to building a culture or building or helping understand the character? Like I'm curious that should they have a voice? Will they have, I'm curious to know your point of view.
I think a leader has a voice, but not the voice or the only voice. I think it's up to a leader to really kind of stand up and show that he or she takes culture and character seriously. And as a result of that, and then providing that framework for how the company should can take that seriousness and really help develop and evolve that culture, but then embrace others in the organization and make them feel. I mean, the last thing I've tried to steer away from is where the organization feels it's up to the leader, the CEO. Like, oh, the culture is because of Frank, or the culture needs to go, Frank, you need to do this, or Frank, if you would do that. Yes, a leader helps set the direction, but a leader is not going to enable that to happen. The people in the organization. So if the leader can then turn it back and say, we can work together in these ways, and I'm relying on you to make the difference as well, that makes it a two-way street. And I think that's where a good culture can continue to evolve and be positive.
Thank you for walking us through that. So when you're writing this book, what is the reader that you have in mind? Like who did you wrote this book for?
So it brings about my experiences. It brings about other experiences from organizations I've been part of and other leaders that I've been connected with. And so it's written for anyone that wants to learn about the importance of culture and character in organization, some ways to enhance culture and character in a positive way, and then also how they could help participate in the strength of culture and character in an organization.
I think that's awesome, and thank you so much for helping us understand what's behind Upstanding, and thank you for putting it out there for folks to learn and understand your vantage point and how to build a robust culture and a very inclusive character, and thank you. So now we
By
are
the way, one thing I want to jump in there on that point. Again, I'm not perfect. We're not perfect in Anaplan. Learning and experiencing. I see also Upstanding as a further vehicle for more dialogue and discussion around this. And so hopefully my other objective is to continue to learn, not only within Anaplan, but from others, the reactions to the book, various other forums that we can have as a result of having more dialogue with leaders or even folks within organizations around this topic.